timeless.
Good. I like that. Thank you, Saji.
Go ahead, Tina ji.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to interactive Sukhmani Sahib Ji session. Let us ardas to our Sadgurus in our mind to give us capability, to give us sumat to understand all the Bani they have given to us. We have covered so far, we have completed in this session 22 Ashpadis. We did 3 padas from 23rd Ashpadi and we'll continue our discussion from that. I think after we finish 23rd Ashpadi, we'll go through, before we start 24th, we'll go over the shloks for all the previous Ashpadis. The sequence, the way Sadgurus are trying to enlighten our mind with the knowledge, with the spiritual knowledge, it's just amazing. So we'll just go over the whole sequence of in every Ashpadi, what is slok, what is the main meaning from the slok. For now, I will recite a few of them before we start our discussion and then we'll continue. Satnam Shri Vaheguru Sahib Ji Adi Gure Namah Jugad Gure Namah Sat Gure Namah Shri Guru Deva Namah Bahu Sastra Bahu Simriti Pekhe Sarv Tandol Pujas Nahi Har Hare Nanak Naam Amol Ustat Karhe Anek Jan Ant Na Paravar Nanak Rachna Prabh Rachi Bahubid Anik Prakar Sarb Kala Parpur Prabh Birtha Janan Har Jaake Simran Udhriya Nanak Tis Balhar Firat Firat Prabh Aaya Parya To Sarnaye Nanak Ki Prabh Binti Apni Pagti Laye जी जंत के ठाकुरा आपे वर्तन हार नानक एको पसरया दूजा कहे दृष्टार. So in 22nd Ashpadi, Sadhguruji is telling us about all pervasiveness of that Thakur, that one and only God who is taking care, who is the master, who is the creator. He says he is the one and I don't see anybody else. And on the 23rd Ashpadi, and before their Ashpadis, which the 18th Ashpadi tells us about Satguru, right? That how important it is for us to meet a Satguru and have the teachings from Satguru. So 23rd Ashpadi, for which we did 3 padas, but if we look at the shlok, the main meaning from the shlok, Gyan Anjan Guri Diya Agyan Andhir Binas Har Kirpate Sant Petya Nanak Man Pragas. This whole Ashpadi is about Agyan, the ignorance. A human has the ignorance about that awareness of the spiritual knowledge, which is gone. Right? So Satguru, it says Gur Diya. It's very important. It says the Satguru has given me that Gyan. It has put in my eyes that ointment of spiritual wisdom. And all the darkness of ignorance, the spiritual ignorance is gone now. And it's now telling Sant Petya, in the whole Gurbani, it's such a, there's the message, Sat Sangat, Sant Petya. It's through those who have achieved, through Gurbani, through Satguru, is when your mind can get enlightened. Your mind becomes like them, and it gets enlightened. Right? So it's this whole Ashtapadi is about that. We did 3 padas. We'll start from the 4th one. संत जना का पेखन सब ब्रह्म, संत जना के हृदय सब धर्म, संत जना सुने शुभ बचन, सर्वव्यापी राम संग रचन, जिन जाता तिसकी एह रहत, सत बचन साधु सब कहत, जो जो होए सोई सुख माने, करन करावन हार प्रभ जाने, अंतर बसे बाहर भी ओही, नानक दर्शन देख सब मोही. He's telling us about the people who have gone through that path, who have realized, which we call saints, the holy people, who have realized, who have understood that one and only. This Sant Jana ka Pekhan Sab Brahm. Pekhan, Drishtman, their views, what they see. Sant Janaka Pekan, they see only that one God, or everywhere in that whole Brahm, they see that one Brahm. Everything for them is that one Brahm, that one creator. They don't see in, or you can say in everything they see that one. Whatever goes around them, whatever they see that one. They're able to realize, they're able to find him. Sant Janaka Hirday Sab Taram. And what do they become? Inside their heart, there's a complete faith, Sab Taram. Taram here is, the Taram, the righteousness, in Taram also means Tarna. In this sansar which Tarna karni is a Taram. You come in the universe and you follow all the rules of the universe. You respect, you accept. You accept, and respect means you let everybody do what they're supposed to do, right? It's a faith. So in a way, the religion also is a faith. Religion is supposed to tell you the maryada of living this life, the righteous way of living this life. According to them, everything, all righteous ways, they know of it in their heart. They know all the righteous ways, the right ways of living. Taram, the actual meaning of taram is tarna, sansar which tarna karni, right? And then tarna karni, and then maryada which sansar di maryada da palan vi karna, right? So it becomes a faith, it becomes a religion, right? There are many different translations to it. Sant Jana Sunhe Shubh Bachan. What they hear is also the good, the Shubh, for the welfare, for the goodness. The Bachan, the words they hear is also for the goodness. It's their choice. Sarab Vyapi Ram Sang Rachan. Rachan is what do you spend time with? How Rachna, kisnal rache hoye ho? What are you spending? Where are you absorbed? Where are your thoughts absorbed? Where is your actions? Right? What kind of company you have? It says Sarab Vyapi Ram Sang. That one pervading Sarab, everywhere pervading Vyapta hai, jada renda hai, everywhere it's pervading that Ram, that one God, Sang with him. That's where they're absorbed always. So that's how they do all of the, so they can see that all their acts, everything they do is by being absorbed in that one God. And then it clarifies, Jin jata tiski e rehat. It says only those who know that one divine, who have realized that Sant it's talking about, those are the one tiski e rehat. This is their lifestyle. This is their way of living. You know, by seeing that Brahm everywhere, by having that dharam inside, and by doing everything with that one creation, that's their lifestyle. Jin jata tiski rehat. Sat bachan sadhu sab kahat. And then Sat bachan, true is their words. Those sadhus, those jinane sadh liya, what they say are their words are also true. Jo jo hoye soi sukhmani, karan kravan har prabh jane. What else? Whatever happens to them, whatever is happening, they take it as sukh, means they are accepting it. Soi sukhmani, it says he peacefully accepts it. They believe this is what it is. They find peace in it, or there is peace in it because it is in the hukam, it's in the acceptance. That surrender, that acceptance is all. What is surrender acceptance? It's knowing the hukam, it's being within the will, with the will, right? Karan kravan har prabh jane. So they know, right? The God, that Karan Kravan Har is that Prabhu, the one who is doing. They have full faith, they know it, that Karan Kravan Har Wala is that Prabhu, Onu Ohi Jan Dehan. They know him as the Karan Kravan Har. Prabhu nu Jan Dehan as a Karan Kravan Har, right? Antar base bahar bhi ohi, Nanak darshan dekh sab mohi. Then his Sadhguru is clarifying what are they living their life. It says that God who is inside and outside, antar base bahar bhi ohi, Nanak darshan dekh sab mohi. It says by envisioning him, by beholding the blessed vision of him, always, they are always fascinated. They are always in mohi, sab mohi, they are fascinated by it. They're in that bliss of observing and watching. They become the observer with the observer, right? They become the being of what the creator wants them, the being, human being. There's a human aspect of it and there's a being aspect of it, right? Says that's what the Nanak darshan dekh sab mohi, beholding that vision, knowing him, they remain fascinated, they remain in that bliss. So far in this first three padas, right, there was this description of the agyan which is there, and then Sadhguruji start trying to give us that gyan. You know, he's trying to tell our mind to accept it, right, in very different taran mahe akas pyal saravlok puran pratpal bantin parbat hai parbrahm. All of that it tells, right? Ved pran simrit mein dekh sasira sur ne kathar mein ek. And then he tells about those people who accepted it and who see him. Right? That's the sun. And he just reemphasizes that's what their lifestyle is. So we can move on. Aap sat kiya sab sat, tis prabhte sagli utpat, tis pavai ta kare bisthar, tis pavai ta ekankar. अनिक कला लखी नहीं जाए, जिस पावे तिस लय मिलाए, कवन निकट कवन कहिए दूर, आपे आप पर पूर, अंतर्गत जिस आप जनाए, नानक तिस जन आप बुझाए. So again, this is more about telling about that one divine. It says, Aap Sat Kiya Sab Sat. It's also trying to put a stamp on the fact that the truth and the goodness and the bliss is all that Vaheguru, right? Aap Sat Kiya Sab Sat. He says he himself is Sat. He is the true being. And what he has done, he has made, what he has done is also true. Tis prabhate sagli utpat. Through that Prabhu, sagli, whole creation has come. Utpat, utpan hui hai. It has been born. The entire creation came from him too. Tis pavaita kare bisthar. If it pleases him, he expands that creation more. Tis pavaita ekankar. As it pleases him, he becomes again that one and only. The whole bisthar also just merges with that ekankar. Anik kala lakhi nahi jaye. He says, anik, so much, so it's such a variety. There's no extent to his power. Kala is the power, cannot be known, cannot be written, cannot, you cannot, nobody can write about it, cannot be known. Jis pave tis lay milai. As it pleases him, he merges us with him again. Kavan nikat, kavan kahiye dur, ape aap parpur. Says, whom can we say is close to us and whom can we say is far away? Kavan kahiye dur, ape aap parpur. He himself is parpur. He's pervading everywhere. And most of the time it uses that oth-poth, right, in the previous padas. Oth-poth is like a woven fabric. It's almost like these days they create those waves, you know, the different layers of the waves. That's how he is pervading everywhere. Antargat jis aap janaye, nanak tis jan aap bhujaye. Antargat. He says those odi gati pani, if you know him, it's through inside. One whom God causes to know that he is within the heart. That's what the translation is. Jan aap janaye. He causes that to happen. He causes it to be known, that depth of him inside, antargat. In most of the spiritual knowledge or scriptures, teachings, they talk about this. He says it's, and same is with Qurbani, right? He says it's that God is inside and outside, but the way to find him is first to find your through inside. The channel is through inside. Antargat jis aap janaye, nanak tis jan aap bhujaye. Says, oh Nanak, he causes that person to bujilana, you know, to understand, or tisjan aap bujai, that person, he causes that person to understand him. I think we can take comments or questions so far in these two padas. So any questions or comments? I see one on the chat by Govindaji. He says it is to stay in faith with acceptance and trust in a Kalpurak. Yeah, that is always there, but here it's trying to tell you more and accept it. It's very difficult for our mind to accept, but we should question how, why, right? What it is telling, right? Sarabhyapi Ram Sang, the Sant Jana Kapekhan Sabram, Hirday Sabdharam. It's telling us more about the lifestyle of those also who have accepted. And it is telling us more about that one divine. What, and this is for us on the path to give us hints and give us clues. And so, I mean, for us, it becomes clues and the connecting dots, right, in our path. But that's all the true knowledge. And Aap Sat Ki Aap Sat, Sab Sat. Says he himself is true. He has made, what he has made is also true. And then a lot of questions arise, right? Then what is false? Right? Then what is Maya? How is that different? Who created that? It actually, in the next padas, it clarifies on that too.
Linaji, the last line where it says, one whom God causes to know that he is within his heart. So it really goes back to Malik only. Whoever he wishes will be enlightened or would get to know that part. How about all the others? If we are looking or seeking, how do we get to that state of being aware? And listening is one thing, understanding by the book is one thing, but reaching to that state, at the end of the day, it's only his mercy and kindness, right? Is there anything in our hands, or there's really nothing in our hands at the end of the day? Correct me if I'm wrong.
All Gurbani is about telling us it's all in our hands, and it's telling us the steps. Just be aware of the state of you as a human. That's what it says. It says to the mortal, Gurbani is saying, know yourself. This is the state of you. And once you know yourself, seek Satguru. And also realize that this birth is a gift as a human being. That is your way to find. But get on that path, seek the blessing of Satguru. Right? And then it says, you know, if you are able to find Satguru, if you're able to find that connection, that Naam, and then that even all the karmas dissolve, and we discussed that. Right? So for as we read this, Antargat jis aap janaye Nanak tis jan aap bujhaye, how blessed we are. Satguru Nanak ne sanu hi bujha rahe hain through this Gurbani. Asi le hi nahi rahe. वो तो जना रहे हैं ना. What is that? What is that between us?
What is preventing us from receiving it? What is the barrier?
We prevent us from receiving it. Guru Nanak is telling you it's there for you, and now he's giving us straight likhta. You know, who prevents us? It's us who prevent us, and there's nobody else who prevents.
How do we overcome the barrier of me, ourselves?
I was speaking. The last wala comment I think.
How do we overcome the barrier of us receiving? What is it in me? Is it home? Is it pride? Is it ego? It's all this stuff.
All this is there. All this is always there. Antargat. He says it's all inside. It says that practice that Bani. Realize yourself. It's very simple. Try to have you understood yourself. And then comes the next step. That Antargat, that practice, that Gurbani, Sat Sangat, and this Gurbani, reading Gurbani and understanding it is Sat Sangat, and meditating on it in a way. First you tell your mind, right? First you have your mind agree to it. And then you get to a next state where you can meditate. You cannot meditate if you haven't agreed. That in a true form, the true meditation is when you can get connected to that source, right? You are with that one, and there are different steps to that. And all spiritual guidance, the trainings or whatever teachings are to tell human, and this itself is a big blessing. Anybody who's seeking for it is is a big blessing already. What is which sprouted in you that is having you ask that questions, and what is coming in the way which is not having you answer, even if the answers are there, how are you not able to realize? So those questions are to yourself and nobody else. That's why it says Satguru can, nobody else other than Satguru. And that Satguru you have to find within yourself. You have to, right? That's all spiritual teachings, all practices. They finally, and there are different ways they want you to realize your inner self. Har ek di apni apni kirtan suno, kirtan karo, meditate karo, khao na e karo, right? There's so much, but it's all for goodness. But all the rituals ban jande hain, and then it even becomes more confusing kyunki kuch labda nahi hai. Right? Avtarji, you want to add something?
This word acceptance, we have to think about that. Acceptance is of the ego. Only ego can deny or accept. But when ego dissolves, there's nobody there to accept or deny. And that becomes the state of the mind. Sahaj avastha. The jinne described when the gunas or the state, those are the natural state of being of the person who has realized a konkar. Realization is opposite of acceptance. Accept, jab tak banda kar raha kehna, either accept or deny, it has to be of the ego. Only ego can say ki ye hai ya nahi hai. But the realization there is only when ego is gone, and now both acceptance and denial, they both gone. They both get dissolved. And then all this state of being becomes natural. These are not conducts. These are not do's and don'ts. Jinne bhi characteristic ditte hoye na. These are not like Christianity, 10 commandments, or religion says do this, don't do this. These are not those do's and don'ts, because that's a natural state of being of the state where the realization has displaced acceptance and denial. But in religion, mostly what most of us do, we just accept it, blindly accept it. Par Bani ch likhya hai, thapya na jaye, kita na hoye. Thapya means acceptance is thapna. Ki we haven't realized it, but kyunki Dharam keh raha hai, Bani keh rahi hai, let's accept it. But that stops all the progress. Bani Jai bhi kehndे jin khojya tin paiya. So the effort has to be made to find. Tade kehndे jitcher mukat na hovai, jitcher shabad na kare vichar. So all Bani is saying that you have to make that effort. Vichar karna payega. You have to search for him and realize him, and don't do thappa on you ke accept kar liya. So these are very subtle messages, but many times the translations and normal bhav hai, onu we just the essence, deeper essence is lost, and it turns into ritual, conduct, do's and don'ts, and blindly following the translation, literally what Bani is trying to say, but actually is trying to awaken us. So that is the key difference. is trying to change our natural state of mind to that state which is describing in these padas. And this is also, God helps those who help themselves. So God will not decide for you that you are going to get realized. It's not God's preordained commandment that I select these people to be realized and these people don't to be realized. Then God really becomes a discriminating person. Christianity is the judge thee not, don't judge anybody. So how can God judge somebody and preordained decide कि इन्हें realize कराना इन्हें नहीं कराना? You know, then he will become a judge. So that demeans God completely, that if God has decided everything for you, it demeans him actually. Then the freedom, then human doesn't have a freedom to search him, find him, realize it, and the whole purpose of life is gone. So these are some thoughts which are very subtle, and actually, in my view, and if you listen to some of the very deeper pravachan, even Professor Darshan Singh or other, who have described it, faith actually becomes opposite to belief. Faith is always open-ended. It does not say what you have faith in. It's a hope and faith there is something good. Belief is always closed-minded. Yes, belief, blind belief, accept. Faith has not acceptance. Faith is you have hope that someday you will find what is out there. Faith is hope, not belief. So these are very subtle differences, but in normal day understanding, we don't see the difference. Believe, accept, command, we are preordained in our destiny, what is going to happen to them. All these are literal translations. And it hides all the essence underneath, where Bani is trying to awaken you and not thappo on you.
Right. I think
that's very subtle.
Yeah, I think that thing about literal translations of Tarji is very important. We are very fortunate we have Gurbani, and the way we should understand Gurbani is by understanding it from Gurbani, not from translations, because the same thing has happened with all the religions, other religions, right? Oh, translation karte kithe khatam hi ho gaya, right? The original message is completely gone.
Completely.
So look at this. Antargat jis aap janaye, Nanak tis jan aap bujhaye. I see so much positivity in it. I don't, when I read it, I don't see it that he's telling me ki jeda karega unnu hi karega. However, I'm seeing it as Antargat, he's giving me a clue. My Satguru is sitting there and telling me apne andar chak, and then he's telling me that Vaheguru is with you, he's going to bujhaye, tenu bujha dega, andar cha aata sahi. Oh, translations kar ke, that's where it gets lost, right? Oh, kirpa ta ho gayi na, tanu Gurbani de ditti. We can't realize because we are not at that level. Ki de ditta, kirpa ta ho hi gayi, Satguru ta samne hi hai. Right? So if I read this as ki ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਕੁਝ flash lightning ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੀ, ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ, then it doesn't, ਫਿਰ ਉਹ translation ਵਾਲਾ message ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ. So
ठीक. Just a question, well, maybe I don't know if it's a relevant question. Does any of the souls has encountered at present time someone who's been lucky or blessed to have reached that state of being fully aware. Of course, Babaji Bani is there, but as a human being, is there anybody else that one can think of? Because जिसका दिया चल रहा है, जैसे कोई company मिल रही है, तो maybe just stepping stone in that direction.
And I think that faith, dharam, that manna is very important. Some of that manna with their own experience, somebody manna with others' experience, somebody just do manna because they're born in that kind of family. They just accept it. They're being told from their birth, they're just seeing it. And then becomes the next step.
Yeah, manana hai na, manan.
Ji.
It means man na, means dissolve your mind. But what we have done, we have turned that to blind belief by the mind. Manan is actually dissolve your mind, meditation. But literal translation is we understand is blindly accept it. It's just the opposite of the essence of it.
So the man itself is the biggest barrier in one way.
Yeah.
But Baba ये कहते हैं मन तू जो स्वरूप है अपना मूल पहचान. So मन को इतनी बड़ी पदवी दे देते हैं कि भी तू और अभी कोई
पर अभी क्या था फिर मन जीते जगजीत.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
कि मन नु जितना जरूरी है.
जी.
And a whole man is ego. Actually, man is ego. And man na is no ego. But asi kya dinde man na means accept by the ego, which is blindly accepted. It's just the opposite. So the way we have interpreted and accepted in normal life, many of these things they become barrier for us to open that big door and move forward. We think we have reached, by manana we have reached. But that's again a param, because translation has spoiled us not to make an effort. So not that there is a bad side of it. Manana, blindly believing in manna, it has a bad side to it because it stops your barrier. It closes the doors for you to move forward.
And Sadhguruji is telling us, he's trying to align us towards that her, towards that truth through whole Bani. And as you read Bani, that the effect, even if you don't know, that effect on the mind happens, right? It says, Man harji tere naal hai, gurmatti rang man. See, that's all the whole life is for you. Understand that, if you align it right, harji tere naal hai, that Vaheguru is with you. Gurmatti, but by that wisdom of Guru, Rangman, live this life, right? So have that bliss in the life. So life has to be lived, right? Still. And Gurbani is all about how to live it. Jeevat mare.
It gives us temporary relief. We use Bani as aspirin. जरा कुछ होया चलो पढ़ लिया दिल खुश हो गया थोड़ी देर ਲਈ कल ਨੂੰ ਹੋਇਆ तो ਫੇ पढ़ लिया परसों फे पढ़ लिया. So we take aspirin, we use Bani as aspirin or as a teddy bear. नींद नहीं आ रही, चलो जी teddy bear ना तो खेलो, नींद आ गई. Next day same problem again.
But you know what, that's the best aspirin. If that happens to you, gosh, you're blessed. If somebody actually gets that effect, that's what he says, naam da rang aa gaya, Bani da rang aa gaya, matlab pahunch ke, you are already on that path. But that's what people have to realize. People have to realize ki haga hai, what is there inside, what is it connecting, what is it which is having that kind of effect on them too.
Yeah, so it's
and
temporary.
then they have to again vichar bhi karna zaruri hai. right? You don't have to just, yeah. Otherwise, that also goes away. That energy level also starts fading if it's affecting you too.
You see, Barney, real power of Barney is as an antibiotic or a vaccine. It's not aspirin. Barney is trying to, but we, in our ignorance, makes its usefulness only as an aspirin, a temporary relief.
So,
But that's so it's a good. There's nothing bad in it, but that's what religion is trying to do. Is
and don't
yeah.
put a barrier, don't stop it there, Hannah. Yeah, but also the true spiritual teachings, I mean, they recognize it. The moment you start having even the questions and the need to have such discussions, it says the kirpa has already happened to you, right? And then if you are able to have that kind of effect on you, on your body, on your senses with that kind of pravachan or bani and all, it means you are really all for it. That means this is your birth, this is your lifetime. In this lifetime you can get it.
Yeah,
So,
just don't stop at that and keep moving. Keep moving.
that
Oh,
is,
फिर विचार नाल you open, you question it. जे मन के बह गए and don't question it, then now it becomes a detriment to your progress.
there should be no question left.
And that you
That's
keep
what-
asking questions until they all get dissolved.
We should
And
move on. And
yeah, so basically it's a continuous thing. It's until you reach there. But translations say कि you have reached already, जे तुसी मान लिया.
and keep acquiring that knowledge once you're on that path is a big blessing. Then it happens one day that you're able to interpret all that knowledge and connect all the dots together too, right? But
I think Koli is about trying to ask some question. Koli ji?
he's saying he has a comment. I see comment from Kovinder ji. Okay, any questions? Otherwise we can just move on and then we can discuss later. So let's do the sixth pata. Sarab put aap vartara, sarab nain aap pekhan hara, sagal samagri jaka tana, aapan jas aap hi suna, आवन जान एक खेल बनाया, आज्ञाकारी कीनी माया, सब कै मध अलिपत्तोर है, जो किछ कहना साख है, आज्ञा आवे आज्ञा जाए, नानक जा पावे ता लय समाए. So it's again, it's about this living. It says Sarab Put Aap Vartara. Put, the forms, Roop, no we can in Put, in all forms. He's the one who is happening, pervading. Vartada Paya. Sarab Nain Aap Pekhan Hara. He's watching through all the eyes. He's watching himself through all the eyes. This quote is very famous in most of the spiritual teachings. It says the seeing or the seer, he's seeing with your eyes. The observer, chase that observer who is seeing, right? So that's everywhere in all religions, right? Sarab naina pekhanhara, through all eyes, he's seeing. Sagal samagri jaka tana. Says that whole samagri, that whole creation is his body. That whole creation he has created. He's just trying to reemphasize he's there. Apan jas aap hi suna. He himself listens to his own praises. आवन जान एक खेल banaya, आज्ञाकारी कीनी माया. He says this play which is happening around us through that eyes of Sadhguru now, who is looking at it from that level. He says that khel, that play which he has created, that one has, that divine, that one God, Vaheguru, Kal Purakh, he has himself created this play. And within that play, he has made that Maya to be also under his will. He made Maya also Agyakari. Says, listen to him. Agyakari kini Maya. That Maya also he has made so that it listens to him. Sabke mad alipato rahe. He says, but there is all this Maya around, but he is not, he remains unattached, detached among all of this which he has created. And we are all of this which has been created, which are surrounded by Maya. But he says he is there, but he remains detached. And that's their ways then rituals started happening, that how do we detach with Maya, right? So, Sabke mad alipato rahe. He himself is unattached. He has created everything. He has created that Maya is also under his command, but he himself is unattached. Jo kich kehna so aape kahe. Whatever is said, he himself says. That kehna has so much of importance. Eko kawao, the whole world, that kehna, the vibes of the naam, of the sound are so important according to Gurbani, right? Agya ave, agya jaye, nanak ja pave ta le samai. He says, within his agya, within his will, we come and we go. Nanak ja pave ta le samai. Says, if it pleases him, then he absorbs us into him. Okay. So agya ave, agya jai, that's a very important one here, right? So when we are told about that there is such and there's hukam and everything, there are two things we always know, right? Which can kind of enlightens our, to some extent, our mind, is the birth and the death. There's nothing, no role we have in it. But everything else we think we have role in it. But Gurbani tells us, no, you don't have any role in that too. Can you step aside and be there, right? To realize that divine. Why do you come in there? Why do you, with that Maya, and that mind comes in there? So we'll go to next one and then we can take more comments. Isate hoye so nahi bura, ure kaho kine kach kara, aap pala करतूत आतनी की, आपे जाने अपने जी की, आप साच तारी सब साच, ओत पोत आपन संगराज, ताकि गत मित कहीं न जाए, दूसर होए ता सोची पाए, तिसका किया सब परवान, गुर प्रसाद नानक इहो जान. He's now again telling the qualities of that one divine. Iste hoye so nahi bura. It says, if it is happening from that God, it cannot be bura to anybody, cannot be bad. Ure kaho kine kach kara. Who else can do kine kach kara? Who else can do anything? Aap pala kartut atni ki. आप पे जाने अपने जी के. Telling about आप pala. He is pala. He's good. He's virtue with virtues. He's gun. Bin gun kitte pagat na hoi. You cannot be with him. You cannot be like. To realize him, you need to be like him. You need to praise him. These are the secrets Sadhguru is telling. Rule nahi hai. These are the secrets Sadhguru is telling, that yes, he exists. This is all the bliss in him. To be like him, you have to do what he does. And you have to praise him. Then you become more closer to him. Aap pala kartut atni ki. He say he himself is good, and his whatever actions, kartut, doings he does is supreme. Niki is soni, badi changi hai. It's the best. Ape jane apne ji ki. He himself know his own being. And then it tells also that Sant, those who have realized him, they also know him. Right? Aap saach tari sab saach. Whatever tarna banai hai, whatever he has established is also such. He himself is such. Whatever is established, whatever he has established, right? That's the taram, right? Stay with what he has established. But then the people become neither me or whatever you say, right? They don't, right? They don't stay within that faith of that his creation. Aap saach tari sab saach. Oth pot apan sangraj. Again, that oth pot, like a woven fabric, through and through. Apan sangraj. He is there. He's blended with his own creation. It's just trying to tell us that he's there. Try to find him. Take that wall which your mind has created and be with him. He's everywhere, and try to find him in there. In the creativity, a lot of people find him, right? You don't even know how time passes. It feels so new when you do something like that, right? Taki gatmit kahi na jaye, dusar hoye ta soji bhai. Gat mit. There's no measure. There's no count. Nobody can say about what state or how much, what is his count, his extent. Dusar hoye ta soji bhai. If there is somebody like him, only then he can give us that understanding. And that's where it says it's so important for Sadhguru to give us that understanding. Iska kiya sab parwan, Guru Prasad Nanak eho jaan. He says all what he does is always approved and accepted. And then throughout the Bani, it says also sakat or not done in faith is never parwan, except in hunde. And it says sant jo kar diya hai, bolde bhi hai, wo shubh vachan hai. That's a truth. So there's this difference, right? There's this other things which happen, and there's the things which that Vaheguru, that one divine, which we need to waken up to. What is it? It says Tiska kiya sab parwan. In Gur Prasad Nanak eho jaan. All this knowledge is given through Guru's grace only. There's those who have reached there can only tell you. I'll conclude this and then we can have more discussion. I'm wanting to conclude this because there's so much message already in it. It helps, with the questions which arise. So I just want to. Jo jane tis sada sukh hoye, aap milaye le prabh soye. O tanvant kulvant patwant, जीवन मुक्त जिस हृदय भगवंत. तन 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 जन आया, जिस प्रसाद सब जगत तराया. Jan avan ka ihe swao, jan ke sang chit ave nao. Aap mukat mukat kare sansar, nanak tis jan ko sada namaskar. Remember what this Ashwari told in the slok? It said there's a need, there's a jnanata in this human, in this mortal. It needs that gyan, that awareness, and it comes from Sant. And now it's kind of elaborating on those through whom that gyan comes, right? It says, Jo jane tis sada sukh hue, aap milai lahe prab soe. Those who know him, they are in that peace, sada sukh, sada, forever they are at peace. Aap milai lahe prab soe. And they know it. They have taken an attempt to know it. And then God, that Vaheguru, he himself, that's why he says God, right? Milai merges them with him. So there are two different steps to it. One is attempt to know your mind, to know your existence, to have it known and accept to your mind, to your existence, to every element or every cell, right? To accept it. And then that God merges you. Oh tanvant kulvant patavant, Jivan mukat jis hriday pagvant. More important is one in whose hriday, inside, is that Bhagavant, that Vaheguru who abides there. He is Jivan Mukat. He is liberated while yet alive. Liberated from what? Liberated from Maya. It's all telling in the previous pada. Truth, everything, all pervading is Vaheguru, but there is other one too. There's a Maya too, which is his Agyakari. But then people, I mean, Maya is Agyakari, but within Maya also there's a lot of plays which happen. All those gods, goddesses are within Maya. You know, they have all the powers. There are a lot of people who worship those powers too. Those things also happen. Siddhis, riddhis, those happen. Right? He says, Jivan mukat jis hriday pagvant. Oh tanvant kulvant patvant. He says, he has the most precious wealth. He has the most noblest of the birth. He's the most honored. Who has the God inside, who is aligned, who does everything in alignment with that truth, not with the Maya, and who is aware of that. Tan, 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 jan aya. He says, blessed is his coming to this human being, as a human being. Jis prasad sab jagat raya. He says, through his grace, because that one person or has known it, the others also know it through him. The whole jagat is saved too in the company of such beings. Jan avan ka ihe swao, jan ke sang chit ave now. He says the purpose of their coming is also this, you know. Jan avan ka ihe swao, their main purpose was also to give that access to that now, that nam, to the rest of the humanity. And in your chit, you know, chit, there's something inside you which is always aware, alive. That's your chit. Even now, you feel what is that inside which is observing, and that's where, you know. So that's a chit. In that awareness, that place, you know, at any time you see there are many thoughts, but there are certain times you see there's something deep inside you who is observing, right? If in that, that's where you should now have the now. If that now comes in that chit, it can come in your mouth, it can be in your mind, it can be in your thoughts, but is it over there too? Aap mukat kare sansar. He says he himself is liberated, and then he liberates everybody else. It even says the universe, this whole world, which is true. It's nothing to do with humans only. The presence, Kal Taran Guru Nanak Aya says, pata nahi kis ਭਲਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਖੰਡ ਬ੍ਰਹਮੰਡਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਭਲਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਨਾਨਕ ਆਪ ਮੁਕਤ ਮੁਕਤ ਕਰੇ ਸੰਸਾਰ, ਨਾਨਕ ਤਿਸ ਜਨ ਕੋ ਸਦਾ ਨਮਸਕਾਰ। So such a being, I always bow in reverence forever to such a being. And in the next pada, it says how to become such a being in the next Ashpadi. And it always says through Simrana, right? And as the Bani says, it's enlightening your mind slowly too, to accept it. Also, right? Any comments, questions? Avtarji, Paulji, I think Kohli was asking something, Paulji.
Only a humble request to the universe, Babaji, please help us all take us to the state wherever that's supposed to be, however that's supposed to be. Remove whatever needs to be removed from our thoughts, minds, souls, bodies, whatever it is, because as a human, I have all the barriers. Please help us and take the eye out of me if whatever needs to be done, and give us the capacity to be what you're telling us that we should be, because it's only with your kindness and mercy we shall reach there. Please kindly, I beg that please have mercy on everybody, on all souls.
That's New Year's resolution.
That's a new.
So be it. If that's what I wish, that's as well. Because पहली चीज कह रहे आप जी ने जी lines आती है, one who knows him obtains everlasting peace. God blends that one onto himself. God blends. It is not I blend into him. It is God blends himself to whoever he wishes to blend. So it's so many facets of same things. Sometimes you see it one way, sometimes you see the other way. They're all trying to take us in the same path. But at the end of the day, we can only request and beg, then
the ultimate bottom line is liberation. And that's where Bonnie is trying to get to. And so, but most of us, we stop at just getting a little bit relief from it. Every day we'll do something, thoda ritual je karke man nu tasalli ho jandi hai. So then we keep on using Bani and the message in a very meager way. While Bani is trying to take us to this bottom line, liberation. So we have to use the Bani or take benefit of Bani to the ultimate. And by these translations, which turn into more like rituals, become our barriers to reach there. That's where there's a good part is, yeah, of course, we can use it as aspirin. That's good. Every day we get some relief from it. That has a good value. But it falls too short of where Bani wants to take us.
Well, I think as we get further away from our true soul, the issues and challenges of life sometimes give us turbulence in our mind. We become sometimes challenged, maybe stressed or something. Then as you take aspirin, Baba Naam Japte ho pyar de naal shanti mil jandi ekdam. So it is doing its part, So it's saying is stay close, keep coming closer and closer, because the challenge is only when you get further away from your source. And it's the only way to kind of connect back. There's something good even when there's a challenge. Malik is pulling our string back, saying, Beta, kar aa jao, tumhara shanti na beh jao, naam jap lo, everything, I'll take care of everything, That's one way of looking at it.
या तदेव दुख दारू सुख रोग भया और आप फिर थोड़ा जा दुख फील आंदा कि this don't stop here. Next day again we suffer, फिर थोड़ा जा कुछ कर लिया था, so तदेव दुख दारू सुख रोग भया. I mean, so if you are completely happy, then you don't forget.
That's
So
true.
Sukhmani reminds you कि थोड़ी जी तेनू जरा सुख मिल गया है, don't stop there.
But that's why he's saying the first line, somebody does get everlasting peace. That means one who truly knows him or
Yeah.
blessed to know him. For them, jo hai sab sukh hai. There is no pain. There's nothing
Right.
else, right?
It's a total immunity.
Yeah. How lucky and blessed are those? We beg and request to be in the company of those souls. So that is ki sanu bhi thodi jaag lag jayegi, you know?
Correct.
Helena ji,
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you
Happy
very
New Year,
much.
everyone.
Sika, thank you, ji.
Happy
May
New
Happy
Year,
New Year to
everyone.
everybody. May Babaji bless everybody. Hari Hari.